Alright, it is a Wednesday, October the 20th, 9:26 a.m., right before the market open, and this is the main watch list. I will be looking at what I think I do best, which is morning panic bounce plays. But MTRT here could do some kind of second day, maybe, some kind of higher low off of VWAP, or maybe red to green, or just something interesting like that. I might be interested in trading it. It's not necessarily the best price. I don't like trading these higher priced OTCs, but as you can see, it can run, but maybe it won't really be clean if it's anything like the last run up. So I'll take that into consideration. SFOR, yeah, it kind of failed this 1 penny, breakout the other day. It could be a morning panic bounce play, but only if it looks like it's something going to be, something really clean. Because if it's not, I might not consider it. IGEX could be one as well, although it's not really ideal because it's not really at a good price anymore. It could try to make a reversal day at any point. PUGE could be a morning panic bounce play for sure, although this might be the kind of OTC that doesn't really have like a nice big red day. It might be kind of all weird. Reminds me a little bit of MJWL, the way it traded all weird and wicky. I guess this one did do red days, but it might not necessarily be something nice. But if it looks clean, I'll definitely look at it. AOYI wasn't really nice the other day for morning panic bounce plays. It did kind of turn around, but it wasn't really nice the way it did it. But I might consider it if it looks clean. AOPP, this is like a number 6 pattern. So maybe if it tries to spike towards its recent highs and it rejects, maybe puts up a lower high, kind of like ILUS, I might consider that for some kind of short. BTZI ideally can run more, but this can be a morning panic bounce play. And this one, AHFD, is probably going to be a watch. I'm not really trying to trade this one. It did have news today, but I'll probably just leave this one alone unless it does something nice as well. Alright, it is 9:55. I had one trade and I was not expecting to trade this. This is Hertz. This is a higher priced OTC. They don't really tend to work that well in theory, higher priced OTCs, but this one kind of worked. It does trade with like a 20-cent spread pretty easily, or if not more, so that's the one thing I don't like about it. But what I really did like about this is that it had a very clean panic. Now ideally maybe it would have like large red candles and no little tiny ones like this, but this one was super nice. That's cool. It's now 21.30 after I had that sketchy price action here by 21.40. That's cool. So anyway, this is like a morning panic bounce play. And I also liked how yesterday it had a morning panic, or was it a morning? No, it had another panic. It was later in the day, but I liked that it showed that this thing was able to provide a bounce. It's not just going to continue to downtrend and offer zero bounces. The fact that it had one here kind of gave me more, just more confidence in trading it today for a morning panic bounce play. And it seems like it's working super nicely, but I did not get any of this out of curiosity. I'll see later what a sell would have been at 21.30, but I didn't trade a large size. I traded a $200 position. I just made $2 measly, and this is where I would be selling right here if I was still holding it, because it's right at VWAP. Now I can try to continue the uptrend and maybe even try the next few days in reverse, head back towards its highs, sure, but for now I would be interested in selling it right now if I was still in this, and that would be 35 cents for my sell. I was in at 9.46, and ideally I wanted to get something under 20.80, but it just really wasn't possible because 20.80 was constantly at the ask, and then the bid was whatever it was at the bottom, and I was risking 265 breaking. There were a few times where it looks like maybe I might try to do it, like right here at 9.47, 9.48. It did show that it was potentially going to break what was my risk level at 26.5. If it were to have broken it in a very weak way, I would have maybe have considered 20.60 instead, but I would have definitely considered selling if it were to have broken under 265. And again, I'm in this red candle at 20.80. Again, ideally I would have been in at a better price, but that wasn't really a possibility. And yeah, I held this for 7 minutes, give or take. I sold at 9.53. This candle right here at 21. I kind of liked how it was looking nice, 9.52. Right, and it had this nice uptrend at 21.21, and then it had this sketchy downtrend right here, the 21.07, and then it opened at 21, and that was super sketchy. And I did sell for that reason. I didn't wait for a red candle. If I were to avoid it for a red candle, maybe I would have sold here at the same price, but I'm happy to see that it did get to 21.40 so far, and this thing can have plenty of uptrend. This thing can make like a Nike check, best case scenario, or it might not do very much because it is a higher priced OTC, and it's not necessarily, at least I don't think it is, a pump and dump. So yeah, if I were to have sold at 21.35, that would have been 213. Yeah, that would have been $5. I would have doubled my profits from $2 to $5, but that's cool. It's a higher priced OTC, but it did it. PUGE, I did see this. I wouldn't have been interested in trading it because I was looking at HTZZ and I was in at 946. Yeah, that was right when this thing, you know, I had its downtrend here too, and I was too busy looking at HTZZ for me to consider this one. But it did turn around from this 13, I guess easily, you know, 13.4 to maybe 14.1, so that would have been what, like 4%? That's not really that nice. ALPP is nothing that I'm interested in. ALYI did have one similar to PUGE, just a random drop a little later after the market open, and I wouldn't have really have traded this. This looks hella sketchy. SFOR, spaghetti, IGEX, maybe, no, yeah, if it kind of like breaks out of this range, maybe it could do something nice, but I'm not necessarily that interested in trading it because of the fact that you know, it's a sketchy sub penny stock, but it could totally try to do something. MTRT, I haven't really seen this. This looks kind of weird. I wouldn't be interested in trading it, but I'll watch it. It has some movements. Maybe it can do something. Maybe it can do something nice off of VWAP, perhaps, but right now it looks sketchy. I wouldn't be interested in it. VTZI, this looks kind of nice. Here's a dip under VWAP, and then maybe if it puts up higher lows, I might be interested in it. But yesterday it did that weird mess where it would sometimes put a lower low and then on the higher low, and then, you know, maybe another lower low. It would just look sketchy, but you know, it's also what, the 4th day, so maybe not necessarily something I should consider, but it can try to do some kind of move, that's for sure. And AHFD was failing. I'm not interested in trading this for a morning panic bounce play. It had news. Maybe they just had the news to have more people to sell into. I honestly have no idea. I'll look at HTZZ to see what it does ultimately. It looks like, yeah, I would have sold at VWAP, but sometimes they can, you know, head even higher, but that's not the case right now. It could do a higher low, but I won't necessarily be interested in trading that. I'll just look at it. Alright, it is 12:56 p.m. and I want to make an update. This is the best case scenario on any kind of morning panic bounce play. The Nike check mark, that's what I call it. So it doesn't just have a nice downtrend and it works, and that at least it got to VWAP, but it also went above VWAP, and then the next level above that is that it even goes at the red to green mark, and then the best case scenario is that it finishes up on the day at least over 5%. I mean, this is a really nice Nike check mark setup. And just out of curiosity, I was in at, it was a $208 position. At that point, this would have been a $40 trade. A $40 trade on a $200 position. Wow, that's a 20% move, give or take. That is incredible. Or is that more than 20%? Actually, that's more than 20%. Because $2.80. A little more than 20%. That is pretty impressive, that move right there. You know, I didn't really get to profit that much, but at least I was on the right track. And for me to be long this setup and say, yeah, I want a Nike check mark, that's a bit crazy because this is best case scenario. It did put up a higher low here. I was thinking about it a little. I didn't pull the trigger because I just don't like how this one traded with a spread. Now, I don't know if it still does it. It kind of has a spread, but it's not much. I mean, it's a $24 stock, but at the time I was not very happy with the spread. And maybe it's a little better now. It put up a higher low. It broke past VWAP, and then it's hard to see here, but this is the red to green mark right here at 22.50. You can see the previous close was 22.50. So this was all red to green, right? And then it eventually broke past that as well. That's super impressive. Very nice to see that. I was definitely on the right track. I traded a small size, but even with that small size, that would have been super profitable. Now, it's not like I would be selling it right here or something like that, but you know, the more I see some of these things, the better. And I think this is actually even a nicer morning panic bounce play despite the spread, because I don't think this thing is promoted. I think promoters like messing around with morning panic bounce plays on the other lower priced OTC stocks. This is more of a official company, so you know, in that sense, I think that's why this one played out so nicely compared to the other ones, because there isn't like some crazy promoters, market makers, or whatever, or just crazy people behind it. This is like a very original form of this morning panic bounce play pattern. My sell was right here, I believe, in one of these candles at 21. That is super cool at 24.50. I'll make an update to see what it does later. I haven't traded anything else. I haven't been looking at the markets too much. I was looking a little to see if there would be maybe like an 11 a.m. reversal, but none of the stocks I was interested in really qualified for something like that. I never saw this. I don't think I would have traded it, but this was a nice turnaround. Volume dried up. AOYI downtrending. No 11 a.m. setup. UGE. No 11 a.m. setup. It wasn't down a lot. SFOR wasn't really down that much for me to consider it. Although this one did reverse. I just don't think I would have even have traded it because of the price that it was. I mean, not the price, but the percent level it was down at the time. It wasn't really that significant if you ask me. AHFD, nothing here that I'm interested in. IGEX, nothing. This was a Nike check mark, and BTZI. This one did continue the uptrend. I just don't like how it just has like a random wick right here, or a random downtrend. It's very sharp. The kind of thing where you're risking a certain level, and then it breaks it, and immediately you cut losses quickly, then it comes back like nothing, and you feel like an idiot. But this will be a nice morning panic bounce play setup, ideally in the future. That's what I'm really good at. Maybe in the future I'll be better at nailing some of these on the upside, not just waiting for it to peak and then play the morning panic bounce play, as well as the idea of considering shorting these things as well. Maybe if it puts up a lower high, I might be interested in trying something like that. You know, just trying to learn the entire framework, right? And this one is shortable on Schwab, so I'll keep that in mind. Maybe if it puts up a lower high or something from this range right here, I might be interested in it. But that's a super nice move with HTZZ. That's the best case scenario on a morning panic bounce play setup. Alright, it is 5:21 p.m. and I am here to call it off. I just had a puny $2 on the best case scenario morning panic bounce play with Hertz. I'm really happy that this one worked, even though I sold super early. It didn't just hit VWAP, it also went green on the day. It didn't just go green on the day, and went up a whole bunch on the day too. There's no way I would have held it all the way here, although I do feel pretty salty because, you know, I see how well this one worked. It doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, it would have been the best thing for me to do to just hold it. I think that would have been dumb, but maybe I could have considered the higher low here. And if I just keep seeing more confidence, you know, with these type of setups that they seem to be working and I seem to have a better grasp of the markets, I'll definitely consider going a larger size. But this is where I'm at right here with HTZZ. Just one trade in at 946, which was right about here, and this candle 946 outs at 953, which was right before this red candle right about here, and it had plenty of moves, so it's just very nice. A lot of moves. AHFD, nothing here really, honestly, nothing I want to do with that. Doesn't really look that nice. SFOR did turn around ultimately, but this one is just kind of weird. PUGE, this one didn't do much. IGEX, nothing really. And then BTZI, I was actually watching this for a really long time on the other screen while I was just doing other things, and it did put up this high, it did put up this lower high, but I was watching it so carefully and I wanted it to do one more official high. It never really did it. Instead, it just tried to turn around. At one point I was interested in being short, but I didn't actually get, you know, my order in and place it and everything, so it did turn around here, you know, from the bottom, and then kind of downtrended. It's nice, you know, flowing above VWAP and all of that. At some point this thing is going to be a potential you know, morning panic bounce play setup. I might even try going short too. It all depends. I'm trying to learn most of the penny stocking framework patterns, the entire 1 through 6. So, you know, this will be in theory number 3 pattern, I guess. It's just pretty nice. You know, trying to get a grasp for these type of things. MTRT wasn't really much of an interest. I wanted it to be a second day, and it didn't do much more. Although it did do a nice move in the morning. It was a nice morning spike. ALPP did finish down today, but there wasn't like a nice and clear point where I wanted to be short this thing. It was kind of iffy the way it had this crazy panic and it came back. And this thing also just became a listed stock too, so it's not really the same anymore as when it was at OTC, where it can be all jumpy. But that's a congrats, I guess, to those people who were able to make it a listed stock. AOYI, I guess I did do this panic, but this was kind of sketchy. And yep, that's all I got. Ideally I can be more profitable, as in I can like make a lot more and trade larger size, but I want that. I definitely want to see that I'm having a good grasp of the markets before I try to push in more size. And yeah, that's all I have for today. Just $2 tiny. Just a really nice setup though. It was best case scenario. The Nike check mark is what I call it.